North America is huge, and in another picture,
As
it's
I said,
half
it
the
can be
size.
explained by orbits and camera.
No, it can't. You didn't explain anything.
It doesn't explain how it fills in the same diameter that a smaller portion
Right.
of continental evidence fills
Because
in.
because
Does
it's not like one picture the sphere is huge, and then the other one it's tiny. They're like the same size, but the continents
it's a composite, right?
themselves.
You know it's a composite.
Right, yeah, but when you
but
then compose the composite, it has to be scaled correctly. It's not the right scale.
Because they're taken at different altitudes.
Okay, you guys are it's incredibly desperate. I mean,
Yes, no, me and Scott will make a great tag team. Let's go, Scott.
That's why you know you were going to do
it's
that.
taken at different altitudes. So this satellite is actually changing orbits constantly. Is that what you're?
No, I mean, like if you have two different pictures of the globe, right? And let's say North America is really big in one, but it's smaller in the other. What that means is that in one case, you were much closer to the globe. So you're not actually seeing the full hemisphere. You're seeing like a chord. If you chord off the sphere, you're seeing just a section of the sphere. It looks the same because it's so big, it just looks like a flat circle, but you're actually not getting the full hemisphere. And that's why it looks so much bigger compared to the circle.
We could also ask them, how do these satellites and rockets throttle? What are they pushing off of?
Okay, well, let's look up the Suomi NPP satellite.
Well, how do you guys feel about what's his name, the NASA guy that claimed to basically artistrate the picture of the Earth?
It's
Didn't the guy say he drew it? It's Photoshop because it has to be that guy.
Well, it's a composite.
Okay, well, the satellite is allegedly at a 512
The thing
mile
about a
orbit.
composite, it's not a literal picture. It's a creation.
Yeah, well, exactly. So it just goes back to the point that we don't have any literal pictures of the globe Earth.
And again, that doesn't strike you as odd, Alan? In 2018, we still have composites.
To make a composite,
we can't.
Why does it need to be photoshopped?
Why can't we have an actual picture?
I said I would
2018.
denounce flat Earth if I could get a Polaroid of Earth.
Yeah. Why does it need to be photoshopped? Why does it has to be?
Because that's where you build composites.
Well,
that's a circular.
Why does it have to be a composite? How is it that we still can't get a picture?
One at a time, one at a time, one at a
Why
time.
does it have to be photoshopped?
These guys will defend anything that NASA farts out, no matter how absolutely absurd and retarded it is, which is funny. It's a joke. So keep
really,
trying, guys.
Really? If you use Photoshop, Photoshop's brilliant for putting composites together.
Yeah, but why does it need to be a composite? Why can't they just take a photograph?
Because the camera's not
Because you
far
have to get
enough
far.
away.
Yeah.
Well, sure it is. It's at 512 miles away.
Do you know how big the Earth is?
But don't we have satellites that have passed Pluto? We've got full photos of Pluto and all these other planets, but we still can't get an actual picture of Earth.
Well, we do have one of Earth, by the way, from the Epic, but the reason we can't usually is because we're so close. And Pluto's so far away, we can get that in the frame. But we got to back way up. We got to keep backing up, keep backing up, keep backing up.
From the satellite we sent out there like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, like the ones that we have of the Earth are taken from very far away.
That satellite that was sent out there like 10, 15 years ago that's still capable of sending pictures back to Earth.
Right. Yeah.
Nice and dandy.
Yeah, so
oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by a plethora of guests. We have got P. Mars, A Plain Truth, Truth Seeker, Pete Shea, Nummy Num, M. Scott Veach, who's just dropped, Dark Knight Chocolate, Arwin, and Alan. How are you all doing?
Where'd Scott go?
Good, good.
I don't think he would realize that there would be another show because he just skipped out.
Right when it was getting juicy. It was getting juicy.
Yeah. He doesn't want to be on record of saying the absolutely moronic, idiotic things that he was just saying.
He did admit me that it looked fake, right? But it wasn't.
He's like, well, I admit it looks fake. Yeah. Anyways, round 3, fight.
What's your game, Nathan, for the third show?
Well, I'm sat here paralysed with my kid on me asleep, so it's like I'm not going anywhere. I was sat listening to the conversation. I thought this is quite good. Broadcast this.
Cool.
A rather lively conversation. Alan B defending the reality of the most absurdly cartoonish images ever shared by NASA.
Do you not like those?
No, I kind of liked where the argument was going before. It is basically what the ballers were saying, including M. Scott Veach that dropped out, is that because the cameras of these satellites were too close, it has to be photoshopped. They can't just take a picture. But then Scott claimed that there is actually a satellite out there that is far enough to take an actual picture as is. But yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
That's a million miles away, right? A million miles. I don't think it's possible to get a million miles away from any place on Earth, right?
Well,
it's 93.
Whatever it is,
the Epic.
I'd like to see.
The Epic, the one with the moon, that fake looking moon. Is that footage?
Right. Yeah.
Or
So
here's
here's my
else?
question on that. This was my initial when I looked at that. I was thinking, okay, so the surface of the Earth is lit up by the sun's light, and the moon is in front of the Earth, and it's shadowed. How is that possible? That's my first initial reaction. How can you have the Earth lit up and the moon is not lit up when they're both in front of the sun?
Magic.
Don't get so complicated.
Well, it's because it's a composite, right? But it has to be.
Was that the dodo dance you were doing, P. Mars? Nice.
Thought he was having a spasm.
I was doing a little voodoo dance.
I mean, is that not a legitimate question? No, I mean, you guys, you know.
No, it is. It is.
Okay.
It should be. Should be lit up. But
So can I see one of these photos from the millions of miles away?
There's a link in the side thing, Arwin.
All right, take a look. Where?
It's called Epic. See it?
Oh yeah, I got it. All right, I'll take a look.
So many disgusting people in chat. This Johnny McCloskey guy, he claims to be an Irishman. You're ashamed to the Irish people, Johnny McCloskey. You're a coward as well that you won't come on and stand by your strong convictions, right? Anyway.
Oh, this is brilliant.
I don't even look at that stuff.
I know, man. I know. These cowardly people. This is why Alan isn't on a personal journey here. This is why I know he knows more than what he's talking about. He won't even admit that there's something off about all this evidence we're getting, all this proof that we're getting that we live in a spinning careering ball. So again, you know, they give the game away for me. I don't take them too seriously whatsoever.
Right. So this is so-called Epic Pictures.
What do you think, Arwin?
Yeah,
where
it's
did you
the same.
post these pictures?
It looks like it's a cutout. It's too perfectly round, and it does look better than the older photographs, but still looks very Photoshop.
Where did he post it?
Also, the clouds seem to be in exactly the same position everywhere, despite the photograph angle being very different. So I wonder how these clouds stay in perfect place despite the camera rotating, which must have been over some time, because while the Earth is rotating in 24 hours, or the camera must have been moving at incredible speeds and still being able to take the clear photograph around it.
Title lock.
See, clouds are in exactly the same spot. So it looks like it's a fabrication to me.
Yeah, you're just rotating rotating the image.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the clouds, and they seem to be in exactly the same setting. Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
So it looks like it's a 3D globe with a skin projected onto it. So
yes, garbage, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
yeah. No, it looks pretty okay, but yeah, it's a telltale sign that the clouds are in the exact same spot. Like they're completely motionless, despite them being in spiral forms, like there's a storm. So they should be changing with every photograph, and they're not. So I don't know what they exactly. It just looks like they made a skin for the Earth, probably also photoshopped with composites, and then put that on a sphere.
It's a beautiful
3D
lie.
sphere like a skin, and then made this animation of it. That's what it looks like.
Beautiful lie.
This is all 2018, according to them.
Still can't get an actual picture. It's horrible.
Hold on. Is this slightly different? No, just look at this. See this shape here? Now look at the next picture. It's exactly the same, up to the most minute details. Here, it's still exactly the same. See? It's still exactly the same. It's just rotated. This is incredible. So, yeah.
That's supposed to be the Earth rotating in that link.
Well, there are still shots of the rotation.
Yeah, and then they skip a bit. See, here's it's slightly different angle. It has migrated northward. See?
So then my question is, how do they know it's oblate if we don't see it visually?
Ever.
Yeah, there we go again.
Ever.
Because we're back 1,000,000 miles, and we should be able to see
some type of sphere wave.
Oblation.
Some type of oblateness. Yeah.
Yeah, also, what I find very remarkable is that on all of these photographs, you don't see Antarctica at all, anywhere. See? It's not there. None of these pictures.
That's because of the cloud cover.
No. You don't see it.
That one looks like a stormtrooper head.
Well, we can't look at pictures of the globe without bringing up a Math Powerland's argument, which is we have never, ever had this vantage point. Ever.
Yeah. Anyway.
So when you say it's good, good compared to what? you've never seen it from that vantage point, and you never will.
You can only compare it to another picture with the same vantage point. Too bad we can't go back to the moon, huh?
I don't think that'll be long, actually. I think we'll be going back soon.
Really?
Well, it's been 50 years.
By the way, I wonder if there's going to be some eclipses, moon eclipses here and there. Then I wonder what the satellite is going to be showing. Is it going to actually show the shadow of the eclipse? Is the moon going to come in between? Or is it closer to the Earth than the moon? I wonder.
I wonder when we're going to put a satellite so that we can see the dark side of the moon, quote unquote.
The far side.
Yeah, the far side, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Because we got pictures of Pluto, but the far side of the moon is still a mystery, apparently.
Well, I think they do have some. They claim they have some pictures from the Apollo orbiter thing. You can look at it on Google Earth. You can look at the map of the far side.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to point out how it's just ridiculous that.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think that would be so hard, right?
There's no evidence that there's a far side of the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would the moon have a far side, right?
So Pink Floyd could write an album about it.
Exactly.
I was waiting for something like that from you, Alice. Can't lie.
I'm just really disappointed all the ballers left again, except for Alan.
They don't want to have a public record of them being shown to be absolute fools, right?
But why would you join a Hangout and click on a little box that says you're about to be broadcast? I don't get it. Why would you join at all if you...
They came in when it went down, so...
Yeah. They all signed on when it logged off. They all jumped in.
This isn't... There is no logging on or logging off. This Hangout that they join is always off air. So when you click that box, people who join, it means something. Maybe you should read it before you actually join, because it says quite clearly, this may be broadcast.
No, but it was right when you were closing the show out, they stepped in and signed on because we were still having a conversation.
Doesn't matter what I say. I can say, I'm going to end the show now and not press end button. And you're still being broadcast, but fortunately you've all ticked a little box when you join the Hangout that says you'll be broadcast. So it doesn't matter what I say. It makes no difference. My point is that when you join a Hangout, you click a little box, and most people don't read it.
But
yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
It's what Nummy said. It's they don't want to be on air getting destroyed.
Yeah.
For some reason.
That's the only explanation I can come up with. I mean, why would they? Obviously they want to have the conversation. They just don't want it to be recorded. So.
But that's my point. When you click that box, you're saying
Nathan was pretty horrible to Scott, though.
Really?
When?
Why? How was I horrible to him?
He did a couple of tasteless videos on him. I'm thinking, I remember the title of one of them was pretty upsetting.
What, lying son of an astronaut?
Yes, no need for that, young man.
What do you mean? He is the lying son of an astronaut. He perpetuates the global lie, and his dad was a lying astronaut who is a propagandist and an actor.
And what does he do? He's a Hollywood director.
Right.
Funny that.
So I would absolutely... I'd put my hands in the air and do it again. He is a lying son of an astronaut.
There's no need.
What do you mean, no need? That's a fact. Statement of fact. His dad's never been to space. He lied to us and his own child. That's a fact.
No need.
What do you mean, no need? Yeah. I'll say it again and again and again. M. Scott Beach, you are a lying son of an astronaut. Your dad's never been to space. When he told you he had, he lied to your face.
Yeah, correction. He's not a director. He's a producer, writer, and cinematographer.
How do you sleep at night, Nathan?
On a big fat bed of money from all my YouTube earnings.
Did you buy some brown shoes?
Yeah, did you get the grill yet?
Yeah, I did buy a new grill. Not with YouTube money.
All right.
I sleep very well at night, Alan. I had some really awesome dreams last night. I'm having some epic dreams lately. Some very interesting stuff.
You should probably stay off the cheese and weed.
Okay.
What's wrong with cheese and weed?
Do you get epic dreams from cheese?
I find that I actually find that when I smoke a lot of weed, I don't tend to remember my dreams very well.
Yeah, me too. Ever since I stopped smoking, which is about almost 3 months ago now, completely cut it off. Now I'm dreaming almost every day.
Yeah,
every night, but especially in the morning.
Alan, I'm not such a big weed guy. You know, I'll smoke a joint from time to time, but I'm not stoned all day every day. I'm not doing that kind of thing.
Hey, Matrix.
And, you know, you should probably, you know, you could probably smoking the odd joint.
No, thank you. It's illegal.
Is it illegal?
Yes.
It's illegal.
It's perfectly legal where I'm not worried about incriminating myself here.
Yeah, that's the one advantage. If it's legal, then at least people don't care as much anymore, and criminals don't take over.
Well, Alan B thinks that if you smoke weed, that somehow discredits you as a person or something, but he's a status quo defender, right?
That's very mainstream media thinking right there.
But it's like mainstream media of like 30 years ago thinking, right?
Reefer
stating
madness.
a fact, just stating a fact.
Yeah. I'd rather discredit somebody when they were taking SSRIs, because that really does change your personality.
Yeah.
What's an SSRI? What's that?
SSRIs are the like Prozac class antidepressant drugs. They can be very dangerous, by the way, especially if you have never taken them before. Can have all kinds of unexpected side effects, and once you're on them, if you suddenly abruptly quit, can have very dangerous side effects.
Oh, are they opiate based then?
Sorry?
Are they opiate based?
No.
Yes.
No, they're not opiate.
Yes.
They're not opiate based.
They're serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
Yes. SSRIs, that's what they stand for.
Alan, I can only imagine the cocktail of pharmaceutical drugs that you must be on.
He's just on a lot of tea.
What drugs are you on, Alan?
The old ibuprofen.
Oh, but that's not very good either.
Warping your mind, I assure you.
Get a lot of headaches, do you, Alan? A lot of headaches?
Yeah, I just take it for the piles.
Is that so?
Are you suffering from erectile dysfunction?
Come on.
No need.
Come on, don't go there, man. Come on.
Kidding around, come on.
Great answer.
And if you do, you can always get some horny goat weed.
Answer, no need. No need.
But with ibuprofen, do be careful, because it will erode your liver over time. Can have some long-term consequences, so be careful with that.
Well, thank you for the advice, Arwen.
But whatever you do not smoke marijuana, because it will discredit you forever. You'll never have a valid opinion again.
Come on. No need to go there.
I'm just kidding around. I mean,
just don't drink any alcohol and ibuprofen. That's actually really dangerous.
That's perfectly legal.
It is, but it is very dangerous.
So, Arwen, have you been on SSRIs? You sound like you have a bit of experience.
Never. No, I've avoided that very consequently.
I think if we can get Chris MCMXCII on, he's in that position at the moment. Maybe he'll have some useful information about that.
Probably.
I had a friend who crashed really badly on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. I think it's basically just a big experiment that they're doing on people.
It is, and it's very, very dangerous. I'll make a claim here, and that is, I've been following through Infowars. I know most of you don't really like it, but there seems
I
to
love
be...
it. I think it's hilarious. I watch it.
Okay, fine. But it seems to be that there is a clear link even between massacres and SSRIs. That most of these people that go on killing sprees or like for no apparent reason start murdering their own family often are on withdrawal of SSRIs.
Yeah, but Arwen, that's because they're mentally ill to begin with, right? So
no.
They're on SSRIs because they have problems.
Yeah,
so
but it's usually not people that are not on SSRIs or never have been that still have problems and they don't do it. The thing is, it tends... what it does is it sometimes, especially when you abruptly quit, it can basically change your entire perception, causing you to go violent without actually realizing, and it feels like it's all a dream.
Yeah,
and
but
that is what causes you to do extremely absurd, dangerous, and normally emotionally scarring things, and you just don't really realize it. That's the dangerous thing.
We don't even know if those shootings are even real, right? I mean,
yeah, but some of them are.
Well, some of them may be, but it's hard to say, right? Since some of them are fake and we don't know which ones, it's not really great evidence.
Yeah, but to boldly claim that there are no shootings whatsoever, that is...
Yeah, but to boldly claim that you can associate so-called massacres with SSRIs when we don't even know if the alleged massacres even took place, it's all very dicey.
No,
so I'm just saying it's
sorry, I'm not going in that solipsistic route. Sorry. No.
How is that solipsistic?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally on the last show, we were talking about media fakery and how it poisons our mind and propagandizes us, and now you're kind of defending the media. It's weird. I don't know how you've got this kind of bipolar approach to media. It's weird.
No, I judge every situation by the evidence that comes out. Some of it seems to be very fake, and some of it does not, and you actually get to see stuff.
Well, the evidence suggests
that there is something happening.
The evidence suggests that we shouldn't trust the news media, and they may be able...
but I don't trust them, but I do use them to basically look into things.
Yeah, but
I don't trust a narrative. I just look at what they present, and then I make up my own mind. That's what I do.
Yes, but in some cases, they may be able to fake things in such a way that you're not able to detect it.
I'll be the judge of that.
How will we even know what is fake or not? How can we determine that?
We can't.
Exactly.
Usually the fake things, I have found a pattern.
We convince ourselves it's the truth.
No, there is a pattern to it. There is a pattern, a clear pattern to faked scenarios and not so faked scenarios, and they're very different. Usually the faked ones get harped on a lot, get talked about a lot, and people in the media will suggest a lot and not show a lot of stuff. While on the other hand, the things that are not faked, they usually present right up front some pretty clear-cut video and stuff, and then they don't talk about it as much.
But Arwen, we don't have an example of something that we can be sure isn't faked. Like, you're acting like we have some cases that we can know for sure aren't fake, and some cases that we know for sure.
We could critically analyze and stuff, we don't have that.
The thing is that we have to understand is that the news media was created for the express purpose, for the exclusive purpose of propagandizing the masses. So
I don't think it was created for that. I think the creator created it for something, and whoever bought it or the powers that be took it for their intentions. I don't think it was created for that.
No, it was.
I don't think creators create things to control anything. Creators just create.
No, the news media was created to propagandize the masses. There's there's a lot of research and reading that you can actually track that down. I suggest that you read Edward Bernays' Propaganda.
Yeah, I know Edward Bernays.
Yeah, if you read Edward Bernays' Propaganda, he talks. It's basically a book, one of the few books that you can read where they candidly describe the plan to create the news media for the purpose of propagandizing the public.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the scientists and the researchers that went into making this TV or everything, they were all funded by these people? This is what you're telling me?
Yes.
Propagandizing,
I think
propagandizing is basically put a narrative out there. It doesn't mean make up absolutely everything and just create blind panic out of nothing.
Yeah,
what they do is they mix propaganda.
Effective
propaganda is mixing truth with lies.
If it isn't the
that is what
truth is a lie.
You know what? These news media, they have no credibility. They lie all the time. So there's no reason to believe anything they say. If someone constantly lied to you, it's not, you know what? It's not on us. We don't have to.
But it's usually the thing that they suggest that is the lie. Doesn't mean that everything they treat is always pure fiction out of nothing. Things do happen.
But things
do actually happen in the world, you know?
Is there halfway truth? Does that exist? Halfway truth?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a difference.
Something happened,
I think
and
there's
then
a
they
definite
put a spin on it. That is halfway truth.
If you want
there's
the
a definite
truth,
difference between actual journalism.
Yeah.
There's a definite difference between actual journalism when people wanted to start being journalists and actually wanted to share information with the public, and then at some point, I think it just got taken over by the people who realized like we have to control this. I don't think actual journalism was created for the with the intent purpose.
I don't think none of it was created for that intent. I think the powers that
I think at some point, they took it. They said they realized that we need to control this aspect, just like every other aspect. We need to control it, so that we are the ones who feed the narrative to the public.
Yeah,
but I think there was such a thing as real.
Yeah, but
I think there was such a thing as real journalism.
Is not the same thing as making every damn thing up.
And do you
think that's actually happening? It's just making sure that it's put out in the right way that fits your narrative. That is what that is. It doesn't mean that everything is fake.
Yeah, I think it's just as naive.
Okay,
maybe
somebody's house burned in the corner. Maybe they covered it, and maybe yes, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's obvious there's a lot of smoke, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe they want to cover that, and maybe that aspect of a story is real. But other than those things that randomly happen, I think everything is prepared for us.
Yeah.
There might be some sort of message.
No, I don't think so. I think
there's some local newspapers that have a few legit journalists, but any of the major newspapers and major network news channels and things like that, they're controlled by the intelligence agencies, and they were created for the purpose of propagandizing the masses and maintaining a strategic narrative.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're there to create the narrative, there to railroad how to think about it. Doesn't mean that they actually create all the stories from scratch, that it's all one giant act, what they're actually reporting on.
But it is a mistake to think that we ought to assume that a story is true until we prove it is false.
You listen to the story and you take from it what you feel. I mean, sometimes you got to go by how you feel about something.
I do the same thing as with the whole flat Earth.
Because
I look at the evidence and then I make up my mind.
It tries to rationalize it with other information you have.
But I don't care about the rationalization. I just care about the evidence. That is what I look at. That is how I make up my mind. I don't care about what they talk about it. I've heard all the angles. I've heard them. It's usually regurgitation of the same kind of thing. The angles, the narratives are pretty clear cut by now. I've been listening to that for like 2 decades now. But that doesn't mean that everything is fake. Sometimes they're clear crisis actors. Sometimes the police and everything is all there right away. It's a clear-cut sign that there is something fake. Sometimes it's not like that. And that's a clear telltale sign that something is really happening.
Can you give us one example?
Afterward, they may exaggerate certain things. Doesn't mean that nothing happened.
But can you give us one example of that happening specifically?
Yeah.
All right. I think that what was it? The latest school shooting. I think that was real. That kid.
Oh, no, come on, Arwen.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know what? There's no point in debating this. I mean, you don't know, and you know you're basically defending the completely discredited organization.
The kid is not dead. He's been arrested. He is there. So we're
How do
gonna
you
see
feel
that.
Why
don't you guys think it's it's just as naive to dismiss everything as it is to believe everything?
Yeah,
you have to start off with the assumption that everything is not true and then prove to yourself it's true, only because we've been lied to with so many different stories. Right?
Might be the case. That might be the case here. I don't know.
Where does that leave? Where does that leave you if you're?
But
if you're looking at
what
something,
I know is if it's true, it was definitely provoked by the past events that's been going on. If that kid really did it, if that really was an event, you definitely could guarantee that he took out of what's been going on, what they've been programming us to or them to do. So it's not like he just had this brilliant idea to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He's been talking about it for years. Online.
Arwen.
No, it's true. It's there. I've read it.
True. How do you know it's true? Why are you saying?
Because he has a freaking Facebook page telling everyone he does.
Why would you do that, Arwen? Come on, man.
Because he's a nutcase. That's
why.
Arwen's the arbiter of truth.
Look, we've had the back and forth now. Look, I'm sorry, I've got to put an end to this. You've had the back and forth. Hold on. You've had the back and forth. One says it's true, one says it isn't. It's not really that flat Earth related, other than it's the same media that poisons us with heliocentricity, which is why it's interesting, and I've let it go on this long.
All
but you can't just
that.
back and forth with yeah, it is, no, it isn't. From this point, yeah, great, subject covered.
But the guy had a Facebook page.
Come on to me, come on.
Your only starting position has to be that this is more media fakery, and then you can go along and prove to yourself that it's not the case. But by saying he has a Facebook page and he's talking about all this stuff, that's just more evidence that we're being set up again.
He had friends and they were interviewed.
Come on, we're just going to get back around.
Although they did admit that he was kind of a loony and was talking about shooting people a lot.
Let's just move on.
And he was on SSRIs and he was addicted to shooter games. And he was into Satanism and he was into communism.
You're just now into talking over each other. Come on, let's have a civil conversation about something else.
He was in that era of conspiracy theory. Maybe he just didn't, you know what I'm saying? He just didn't evolve to flat Earth to other.
He didn't care. He was a hater. He was a clear-cut hater.
But at the beginning of every journey of conspiracy theories, aren't we all kind of like that? Angry and pissed off? We've been lied to?
No.
Can we move on from this, please?
This guy was completely in the pits.
Clearly not.
This is all evidence for a trial, Arwen. You wouldn't get to see it. We've got to use our brains here. You wouldn't get to hear it.
He's been arrested. He's not dead yet, so there is going to be a trial. I'm going to
could be evidence.
Know him.
To hear
Why are you acting like you know any of this? You don't know any of this. The fact that he had a Facebook page is not evidence.
And he had friends that actually were interviewed.
Oh, he had friends that were interviewed. Yeah. Oh, that must be real then.
The guy had a different opinion. Arwen, that's very mainstream media of thinking right now.
Okay, sure, guys. Every freaking person in the world is an actor. There's nobody genuine.
That isn't
in that sense, all of you guys are all actors, and you don't even know it. Because you're so brainwashed that you don't even know that you're actually actors.
You're sounding like Alan. This is exactly the position Alan would take against the rest of you.
Arwen, you're really clueless when it comes to this stuff.
No, I'm not.
Picking on
you believe that every freaking media person lives in Canada.
I would have moved on 10 minutes ago from this.
Screw
yourself. Going back and forth saying, no, it is true, yes, it isn't true, no, it isn't, yes, it is, etc., etc. So, come on.
Oh, Arwen's rage quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we'd have stopped 10 minutes ago.
Why did you do that to him, John?
You would agree with Arwen, though, Alan, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily. I don't know the cases he's talking about. So
no, see, what Alan wants to do is perpetuate any kind of conflict between us, right? Because he's here to just toxify the environment between us.
Not really. You're the one that.
If we have a conflict, then he'll take sides, but then he'll, you know, in another situation.
I like Arwen.
No, you don't like Arwen. You don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do. You don't decide.
Yeah, I do decide.
No, you don't.
I know that you're here. Your purpose here is to.
I think.
Your purpose here is.
I think Arwen's point was just.
Division. Your purpose here is to cause conflict and talk.
And you're just trying to cover up that you're a nasty piece of work.
I think we live in a consensus reality, and we'll all decide whether or not Alan likes Arwen. So, based on consensus, I don't think he likes him either.
You're funny.
No,
Alan, will you ever show your face, Alan? Will you meet me in Dublin, Alan?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I look forward to that. I really will. I really will. But I know that. Can you tell me, just to get off the topic as well, but can you tell me a hoaxed event that you're sure it was a hoax? You proved yourself as a hoaxed event. Because the one thing the ballers seem to have in common is that there's no hoaxing. There's no hoaxed events.
No. You know? The government would never lie to us.
The government is not corrupt, and they never would deceive us that way.
To answer your question, Pete, I would say the befriending of Gaddafi was a hoax.
Gaddafi will be mainstream media, which automatically makes it bullshit.
Gaddafi's death was a hoax. Do you realize that?
No, I don't. Talking about his death, I think the British government and the American government used him.
Yeah, that's only half the story, right? This is what we've been said and led to sort of arrive at. But when you look at the images of the whole, it's a hoax. It's a death hoax. Everything's a hoax, right? It's.
You mean he didn't really die?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't die.
The Libyan the Libyan embassy where Christopher Stevens, the clues in the name Christopher, that's another hoax. Hillary Clinton with 33,000 emails, all a hoax, all a narrative fed to us, right? We got to be wiser than this. That's what I'm saying. The only starting position you have to take at this point in time, this juncture, is that we're dealing with more media hoaxes, and then prove to yourself that, look, there is some sort of substantial evidence that it is real. But otherwise, I don't take much notice of these things anymore. I know we're living in a complete matrix, right? And it's all
it's political world and all that. They're all actors. They're all controlled.
I don't think they're all actors and controlled. Listen, I just think they play the role. They don't question things. They don't want to stand out because nobody wants to lose their job. So they play the role and shut the fuck up. No, I'm sorry. They shut up. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that necessarily paid agents and they're talking to the CIA. I don't think that's what's going on all the time.
That is what's going on.
I agree.
With all of them all the time.
Yeah.
Every actor, every musician,
It wouldn't work to have a mixed system, dude. It's either one way or the other. It's not a mixture of actors and real people.
But you just determine those boundaries. You just say one way or the other. You don't know any other way. You're delimiting that.
We don't get to hear about the real everyday horrors, the real murders, the real family tragedies. We don't get to hear about these things really, or a brief mention on the news. It's all the fake stories that are put front and center. Someone was talking about the Manchester paper explanator who pretended he had cancer, right? This is the type of characters we're dealing with. He was talking about looking at the Manchester bombings and some award show, for bravery. And he told me, he said, because I won't use any expletives, I was the CUNT, well, that he thought of me who was denying this. Whereas, it's clearly a hoax, fake affair. But this is built up on the mainstream for the purposes of mass persuasion. So I agree with Nummy Num for the most part here.
Can anyone tell me who's funding these things, like Bill Nye and the grass asshole? Who pays these people? How do they make money?
They print the money, man. They print the money. Don't worry about who's funding them. You don't have to worry about that. All you got to do is look at the evidence and see, does it ring true, right? If it does, well, then you take it further. If it doesn't, then you can dismiss it and put it off to the same. Like when I talk about 9/11 hoaxery, I know no one died. I know that this was all a staged media affair. Same with 7/7. Same with
9/11. People died, but
there you go. Yeah.
The consequences of 9/11 provoke people to die.
Well, that's for sure.
Listen, they make money from these media outlets. They sell advertising.
Exactly. And they say donate to the Red Cross. And all that money goes to them. So they mess with our minds. They get us to feel guilty to give them money. So we voluntarily give them the money.
Yeah.
You understand?
And they get you for the killing then.
It's manipulation.
To add a little something to that, Pete. Just to add a little something to that, Pete.
Sure.
I think it's a little dangerous to just say that nobody died in 9/11.
Why is it dangerous to say that?
Because I'm in New York. I was in Manhattan on 9/11.
You're saying that. I don't understand.
I was here also. I was in New York as well.
You know anyone who died?
Yeah.
Nope.
Personally, no.
You knew anyone who died?
I know
no one that died.
I know two people whose fathers died, supposedly, right? So supposedly, but I personally know one man whose father was the head of security of both towers. You know what I mean? So that's all I can say, but it would just be like, really? So,
but in that case, that would be normal. A security will all obviously be sacrificed in a situation because he's a security. You know what I'm saying?
Hang on. You have to do the necessary research, and then you find that the two buildings were built without many floors. You have to understand that there was FEMA were in New York at the weekend. The whole place was cordoned off. You know, when you have hundreds of people, thousands of people cooperating in these drills and exercises, no deaths is an imperative, right? So again, there's a whole different story unfolded. And of course, with a narrative, you're going to have actors, you're going to have narrative, you're going to have stories inlaid within it. You know, that people can.
Right. I understand all that.
Anyway,
no, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know somebody personally, because thankfully I don't.
Oh,
that would.
Well,
but again, I was in Manhattan. I saw the devastation.
Like, it's not as if these are the first hoaxes. Pearl Harbor was a hoax.
No.
The World War, for the most part, was a hoax. The JFK shooting was a hoax. You know, this is not the beginning.
I'm starting to think it's all a hoax. Every beef with every leader, every so-called bombing. I think these people are all friends.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. And you're called the Matrix. You should know that.
No, I know that's what I'm saying.
The media is the Matrix. The more things that you believe without evidence, the more you live in a virtual reality. That's the meaning of the Matrix. Exactly.
And someone like me,
but I think what Arwen's point was,
I get most of the
really
okay.
Arwen believes.
I think Arwen is confusing people's intentions.
I'm just saying.
Good. He's confusing people's intention to do good. People's that they don't really want to be part of that manipulation, and they just do it to do the job. He's talking about those people.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying. I think his point was just you can't just dismiss everything as fake. Just the same way, like we make fun of people who believe everything. You can't just outright dismiss everything.
No, you don't.
I mean, things happen in the world.
Yeah, but you don't have to dismiss it.
You don't have to dismiss it.
Have to believe it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to.
At the beginning of it, when you
it isn't like a balance. You know, you don't have to. It's not 60-40. You know what I'm saying? You could choose to believe it or not, or further investigate it. You don't have to make.
Say if you had a friend or you knew somebody, right, and they came up to your door and they're like, my child's missing. You please come and help me on the search mission. And then you spent 48 hours roaming the fields looking for the person's child, and then you found out that the person, their child was never missing. They're just shitting you. Are you ever going to believe another thing that person ever says again?
No.
That person, no.
Yeah,
highly doubtful.
Yeah. Why would you believe them? They're liars. There's no reason to believe them. If they're telling the truth about something and you don't believe them, that's not on you. They have no credibility. There's a thing called credibility, right? If you go to a trial and you can show, when you interview the witnesses, if you can prove that those witnesses are known liars, then they lose all credibility in the case. They're not valid witnesses any longer.
But that's just how you're good at manipulating people and human psyche.
Well,
let's manipulate the jury.
People who lie don't believe liars.
Yeah.
And
but lying is a human condition.
No, and lying is not the human.
Everyone lies.
I don't lie. I try not to lie.
Isn't it the same way? Isn't it the same way? Like,
while you all talk over each other, I just want to add one thing here, which is that the one arbiter of all of these lies, it's the same source. It's always the television that's actually lying to you. It's always the narrative of the news media, the newspapers, the internet news, the TV. So it's always the same sources, and you can switch those sources off. In other words, rather than believing or disbelieving lies, just don't expose yourself to the lies.
Yeah. And it's like it's like 5 corporations that control all the major media outlets, at least in North America.
Pretty much.
And I guarantee you, if you look in the chat here, in the main chat, you'll see all the ballers raging at the insensitivity of the flat earthers, calling, disrespect for the dead. It's an attribute of all the ballers, right? They all sing from the same hymn sheet. And again, Arwen is passionate, but I mean, at the same time, we have to learn from our experiences, or else we're just bound to repeat our mistakes. And
my view is that Arwen, he thinks that his intuition is superior, right? This is his position. He thinks that he's in a position by his special ability to sense truth that we don't. The rest of us, we all lack this, according to him.
We all think that. By the way,
knows in his heart. When
we all think that. We all think that. We all think that we all have some sort of answers. We all think that. It's a personal ego thing. So it's not just our win.
No, I don't.
That's true. Everybody's intuition is exceptional to themselves, obviously. Because
but I don't think that. I don't think that
I have to, because nobody has your
You
journey.
have to, man.
Nobody has your opinions, nummy.
You have your own personality, nummy.
So you have to have your own ego with it.
Yeah, but we're basing our position on previous investigations, right? So again, Nami is right. If someone is found out to be a liar again and again, you're just automatically going to take the position that, look, I'm being lied to again here. Now, if you want to further investigate, if all the evidence points in a different direction, that's fair enough, right? But it's the only reasonable position to take coming through, the pathway you've come through in terms of all the media.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Nami's intuition is to be more so skeptic about things. Okay, so if Arwen wants to accept
position, right?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not even saying that there's something wrong with that.
He says that I can watch a news broadcast about an event like a shooting, and I can just tell whether it's real or not. That's what his position is. I don't make that claim. Sometimes you can find logical inconsistencies. You can find anomalies that can indicate that are strong evidence that the thing is fake. But I don't think I think that something could be well staged to the point where you would not find any such anomalies, and I wouldn't rely on my intuition to tell me that it was true or not at that point. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that sometimes, but I'm saying if there's enough examples of where that they've faked and lied about things, then they have no credibility. There's a credibility issue, and credibility.
Yeah, there's definitely a credibility issue.
Yeah, but credibility is a big deal. Right? Like, if you're
of course.
If you're a known fraud, you're not going to get a loan from a bank. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's what they've done is that they've created this idea that, well, even if they lied in the past, we still have to debunk all of their future stories as if they've never lied in the past, right? But just the fact that they have no credibility is a reason for us that we can basically operate from the assumption that they're liars, and that they're going to have to show us extraordinary evidence that they're telling the truth, not the other way around. They've got it mixed up. They've got us mixed up, thinking that we have to that we always have to work from the assumption that what we see on the news is true, even though they lie constantly, right? But, the other thing about the news is that they don't even claim what they're saying is true. Right? People just kind of assume that. You don't go on there. They're not,
Well, they say it's programming. They tell us it's programming.
In the United States, well, they call it stories, tragedies, things like that. But that in the United States, it is not.
Here they call it programming. You'll now when they give us a commercial, you will now conclude to your weekly programming.
Okay. But I'm saying,
I think the point that Nummy's making is when they introduce a story, they say our top story.
It's not illegal to lie in the United States and most countries, I think, except for if you're under oath, right? And they're not under oath, and they don't even go on there and say, okay, we solemnly swear that what we're about to tell you is the
right, because people assume that people assume they're telling the truth. That's the problem. The assumption.
It comes under the umbrella of entertainment. It really does. News, entertainment.
I was just gonna say that there's probably like a little byline on the credits where it says this is entertainment purposes only.
Yes, and this is how they got away with 9/11. This is all legal and above board. It really is. This is how they do it. That's what I've come to find out. But I've left that behind as well. We have more important things.
That's how it works. They scare the shit out of us, and then they take our money and make laws.
Well, this has got to do with the legal name fraud then as well. But the more important things to consider: shape and nature of our home, the future of our children. It's overwhelming, right? The level of lies, the level of oh Jesus, it is overwhelming. And I guess Arwen had the same reaction there as I get. Does anyone die in your world? Of course they do. Of course they do. But we're talking about
the thing is, what it comes down to is they own the broadcasting infrastructure, right? They control the actual means of perception.
If there's something they don't want us to know, they will definitely control it.
Right, but I'm just saying that they control the hardware. right? The hardware for broadcasting all of this information.
Well, they control everything. They control absolutely everything. And somebody steps out of line, they will get fired. So that means
we're discussing software, but they own the hardware, right? They control the hardware, so they ultimately can control which signals are allowed to flow on their machine that they've built to distribute information. And that's what it comes down to, is that we don't have the means to broadcast our thoughts. We don't have the means, you know, actually it's interesting that they have given us the means to at least do this, right? But but you know, they can pull the plug on this as well, and they may do that eventually. And they've been
I think this, I don't think they foresaw what this was going to do, though.
No, I think who is they? Who is they?
The people who control the intelligence, basically the people in control of the intelligence community, the three-letter agencies, and world governments.
People telling them
the think tanks that run the media show, and also orchestra.
And who is behind them?
People.
Who controls them?
Certain people. People who are involved in that community, in the intelligence community.
I would love to trace the root source of that whole control system.
I guarantee you've seen them on the street and you just never knew it.
The church is behind everything. We saw at each other's throats Trump, apparently at each other's throats, Trump and Clinton, right? But then we see pictures from a dinner, you know, later on in the campaign where they're all, you know, sitting together, and you have leading church figures in the center of it all.
It's all fake. And even all that's fake.
I'd probably guess so as well, Nummy. But again, yeah, we have to understand our own true power. We can participate or not participate. Now, it's going to cause difficulties, but this whole world is, well, the world itself is a fabrication, right? So yeah, this is about us coming to know ourselves and what we can do. I have a more optimistic bent on things, but I would like to ask people here. I mean, is there any hope? Do you see any hope in general? Do you think that this is a one-way street and this is all going to end terribly, especially first and foremost for the likes of us, because we're resistors, but ultimately for everyone?
What is that? What is end terribly? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, we live in a tyrannical sort of system, right? We can see the level of lies. They've lied to us about everything, or we have been lied to about everything. Yeah. So if their power base just keeps increasing and ever increasing, for any truthful and honest human, is it bound in misery and despair? Because
can I give you guys a different point of view?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Of course.
All right, the so-called elites or whoever controls it, maybe they are not lying to us. Maybe in some weird way they think they're protecting us from something.
Yes, they do.
Because listen, all we have is the internet and research, and we already are. We think we are very informed. These people have the means to find out everything they need to. So if I would choose to believe what they believe, I would probably choose what they believe, because they have the means and the resources to actually verify whatever bullshit is that they believe.
But they don't tell you what they believe.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I was just gonna say they're probably not sharing with us what they really believe.
Honestly, would we listen at all?
So what? So
we're so paranoid and think everybody is against us that we wouldn't even listen.
I don't think
this is exactly what they want. They want us to go at each other's throats the way.
No, they don't want us to do that. We automatically do that. It's our instinct to be paranoid.
I don't think they're against us. I just think they're lying to us.
That's why they have people like Alan put in place here, right? It's to sort of stir this shit amongst people who are
so you guys automatically by default think that these guys are just all evil baby eating monsters?
Yeah, that's me.
Don't they have families? Don't they have kids that they have kids at night?
Nobody said evil. Matrix, who said they were evil?
By default, every conspiracy person says that the elites automatically means evil.
I didn't say that.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not default. I don't think that, and I don't appreciate being default.
Maybe not you, Nami, but
I think they're players in a greater game, and that was illustrated on the cover of the Economist 2015 magazine, where you see Alice in Wonderland. Hang on, everything is flipped, right? So you see Alice from Alice in Wonderland looking forward on the puppet show, which are the leaders of us. So again, I could expand on that, but I won't. But we this is a greater game that's going on. That's what.
As far as I could tell, they've been telling us the truth and foremost, music, videos, movies. They've been telling us, we just don't listen.
Yeah, but this is about our awakening.
System has convinced us is a lie, is fiction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's why. But they've been telling us.
The reason they don't tell us anything is because, like I was telling somebody the other day, it's the whole knowledge is power thing. If they really know that the Earth is, let's take it back to the flat Earth. If they really know that the Earth is flat, they're not going to come out and just say it. They're going to display this entire ridiculous heliocentric model that they do. Yeah. Why? Because if we don't know what the hell we're living on, then we're not as powerful as they are.
We can know who
exactly.
we are.
We don't know who we are. We don't know where we come from. We don't even know where we are right now.
We don't know when
if they have that power, if they have that knowledge, then that's power that they have over us.
Yes, maybe each and one of those individuals seek that power, because me personally, I'm seeking my knowledge. Right. I'm trying to do as much research as I can. So to hold them to them, in some way, that's evil what because somehow they gathered all this knowledge is unfair for everyone to just say that these people are all evil trying to control us. Something is going on. Something. Maybe they also have a system. Maybe they're also being controlled in some way, shape, or form. We don't know this because we're too busy fighting amongst each other and being paranoid and thinking that because they're rich, they're evil and mean. And you know what I'm saying?
Yourself, man. I don't think anyone here has made those suggestions. We don't all think that.
It's a general. I'm generalizing, and I'm not pinpointing you or anyone specific. It's a general thing. Don't take.
I'm not taking it personal, but I don't think anybody even suggested that.
So right. most of the hangouts and most of the conspiracy, have you ever anyone actually try to justify or at least try to understand what is going on with these people?
I think there's more and more people who have a little bit more of a nuanced view of that. Yeah, there's obviously like a layer of the conspiracy theory. I think mostly the controlled part of it that wants to,
Well, that's who I'm speaking to. Them. I'm speaking to them. To the people that still think that when you point out fingers, you're gonna, stupid things like low frequencies people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think even the idea of evil itself is a hoax.
Evil is lived backwards, right? The devil is lived backwards.
What is evil?
Yeah. This is material versus immaterial. If we don't know who we are, right? For me, I'm a mix of the material body and the immaterial, which is the spirit, the soul, whatever you want, having an experience here. And the only way I can come to awaken to the truth is by going through this experience we call life. And I think ultimately there is a much greater game going on here. And I think we're also coming to the end of it as well.
Evil is a religious supposition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, evil, good is all point of view, because somebody's evil could be somebody else's good. I mean, if you're broke and you lose and you find $20, that would be something good for you, right? But that will also be something bad for the person that lost the $20. You understand? So it's how you see things.
Or it could be that it's like the lying. Obviously there's some disservices that come along with disinforming or lying to other people, right? But we don't know. It could be that it's the lesser of two or more evils, right?
Or maybe it's just what they have to do to be part of the clique.
Or perhaps what they're trying to do is that they don't really know the truth about like the universe, right? But they're trying to create a unified narrative because there's some kind of net benefit for having a unified narrative despite not having the answers.
But you have to understand that if that's the case, then who is controlling that very narrative? Who?
Well,
what entity or entities is controlling that very narrative?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's secret societies.
When we come to a flat Earth, right? Can I just ask, do we all hold that there is a creator? I think for the most part we do. We can't define it particularly, but I think we all have to hold that there is a creator of some sort. And
doesn't really have to be.
Honestly, even when I was a
we could have just been put here.
Even when I was a Glober, I believe that there was a creator, because I don't believe we all came from a rock or from nothing or exploded from nothing into something. I don't believe none of that crap.
I'm just not limited to a creator or one creator. There's so many possibilities. We could have been put here.
Some higher power.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know how it goes. Whoever placed us here, we don't know. We don't know what kind of manufacturing did this. What kind of entities did this? You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Just beyond description. Like
it's beyond us. It's beyond us.
It's not beyond us. There's only two choices.
Sorry,
nature did it,
or
intelligent design.
No, I think that's
maybe these are the same choices.
They aren't the same choices.
You sure? What makes you think that somebody doing it isn't nature?
This is why I asked:
because nature doesn't have intelligence, that doesn't have volition. It's inanimate.
I think we have to put a faith that there is a higher and a greater purpose, and that ultimately everything is under control. And I would think that a lot of people here would agree with me in terms of, no matter how much I've found out, I'm still glad I found it out, right? I've grown so much as an individual. I've grown so much in terms of my thought processes and my thoughts about myself.
Yes,
the man and the world around. So
faith is not going to help you learn, right? So there could be a creator, but believing that is going to help you figure out what the real situation is.
Higher purpose, more so.
So John, let me ask.
There could be a creator. You only got two choices: either nature created you, or intelligent design.
Yeah, well, I'm not choosing without the evidence.
Nature, that's
you have the evidence.
What is
it could just be virtual reality, like simulation.
You have the evidence. I already gave it to you. There's 4 proofs back there in that video.
Yeah,
well, how's it going, Stun Gun? How's it going?
Go defeat him.
So John,
do we completely dismiss the simulation?
John,
well, if you got a simulation, you have to have a programmer.
It almost has to be a simulation.
Programmers
to be greater beings.
But John,
can't have programmers.
Question.
There's only one creator.
If we are greater,
couldn't nature be part of the intelligent design, though?
Go back to the presentation that I made, and you'll see there's.
It's not as rock solid as you think it is.
It is rock solid.
Well, so you think
rock solid?
So refute my proofs.
Solid.
No, prove your proofs.
I already did. It's in the presentation back there a couple weeks ago.
But there's a lot.
So I say no.
I haven't seen the presentation, but I can't agree with him that there's only one.
Not said.
That doesn't jive to me.
Big difference.
Aristarchus.
That's you.
Go back here. Pull up that video. Let's pull up the video. Let's go one by one.
It doesn't matter how convincing it sounds. You cannot tell us. You cannot assert that there's one creator. You do not have that knowledge yet.
Oh, yes, I do.
He pretends he's not.
You will be the only person on Earth to have that knowledge. You understand?
No.
You understand what you're claiming?
I don't think I'm the only one.
It's not true, right? That doesn't mean I talk about Aristarchus.
Yes, it doesn't mean it isn't true.
I know what I mean.
I also think that there's rock solid proof that creator is the God of the Bible, and
it could just be the first civilization that was on this earth.
That's another question. That's another question. We're just dealing with the creator.
It shows that I don't know. You're made okay.
I think what we think
so
the
John,
creator
John,
is maybe the first civilizations that were put here on this earth. Maybe that advanced to such a level that we see them as they could be gods.
Who?
Wait, so John, it's separate according to you, right? You're saying it's either intelligent design or nature, right?
That's correct. That's two. That's the only two ontological.
I think they're the same thing.
So what if? I mean, couldn't nature be a part of intelligent design? That's not
well, you're confusing the medium.
Unnatural system.
With the source.
System.
He's asking me.
Okay, nothing is natural though. You have to define it first of all. Off you go. Yeah.
Do you think that Jonah lived in
okay, like, all right, so you're saying, like, all right, so it's intelligent design. So whoever created me, right, and whoever created these trees that are outside my house right now, they can't be the same person? Or they can't, or the same entity, or whatever you want to describe it as?
Maybe who created us wasn't the creator. Huh? Did you ever think about it that way?
Then who created them?
Who knows? That's what I'm telling you. Why are you making these
big problems with your argument, isn't it? Because if intelligence requires a creator, then who created the creator?
Who created the creator's creator conundrum, right? That's an infinite regress fallacy. I dealt with it in that presentation.
It still doesn't make it untrue. Just because
infinite regress
it's fallacious reasoning.
It makes it unknowable. It makes it unknowable.
Point. What do you find this conversation?
Everybody technically is agnostic.
Infinite regress is the result of fallacious reasoning, not.
No, it's a fallacy of reasoning.
Infinite regress is the product of a fallacious
infinite regress fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy.
Yeah, it is a fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy. It ain't a fallacy, no matter how much emphasis you put on it.
John.
I can tell he really believes this, but I could poke holes to this whole story.
I don't believe it. I know it. John. I'm making a knowledge claim, not a belief claim. So John, go back to the presentation.
John.
All right, so John, so when I asked you about could nature be a part of intelligent design, and you said I'm confusing the medium, is that what you said?
Yeah.
What am I confusing about that?
You're confusing the medium, what's used to make this reality, with the source.
But the infinite regression is not a fallacy.
I'm not going back.
It's not an argument.
What are you calling source? What are you calling source?
I think I can follow what you're
source
saying.
Yeah. Yes. What is source to you?
Source, the creator.
It has to be an originator, right?
Originator, yep.
But you think that
I don't think.
I agree. I agree that's source. I just don't agree it's one creator, one entity, or I'm not limited to just one. You understand? We don't know what could be or could not.
Is it knowable, or can it be knowable, or is it unknowable? That's the ultimate question, right? That's what we talk about faith. As we come to flat Earth, we all hold that there is a greater power, sort of necessarily, right? So yeah, we must have faith in one sense that there is a greater.
We're either created here or put here.
How about instead of just saying fallacy, when I say that there's an infinite regression problem, you explain how it's illogical that the infinite regression problem is a problem?
Well, you go back ad nauseum to who created the creators conundrum. That is by definition self-evident infinite regress. My word.
Yeah, but that's not our problem. That's the problem.
That's your problem. You introduced it.
No, that's the product of your argument.
It's not my argument. I didn't say it.
Okay, let's just start from square one then. Okay, so you think that in order for conscious beings to exist, there has to be a creator.
Yes, in order for any matter to exist, there must be a knower.
And is the creator a conscious being?
Creator's consciousness. Yes, he has.
Okay, so but that consciousness doesn't need a creator. Only
that's right. Okay, now listen.
Okay, so why is that?
So I'm going to tell you why. For everything that's finite, including the universe and us, there's a logical necessity that whoever
the universe is finite?
The universe is the second law of thermodynamics.
Well, you're not proving in order to prove the second law of thermodynamics, you have to prove that the universe is finite. So that's a circular argument.
How's it circular argument?
Well, because you're saying, how do I know that the universe is finite? The second law of thermodynamics.
First and second laws of thermodynamics.
Because that's the assumption that the universe is finite. So it just feeds
on it. It feeds on it.
Okay, so your total proof that the universe is finite is the second law of thermodynamics.
This is the combination of the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Yeah.
Okay, can you explain how?
Isn't thermodynamics not a law? Is it just something that was discovered by someone? A phenomenon that happens?
Laws of physics are not fact in any way.
They're not.
This is what people are used to explain phenomenon.
Prove to me the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, okay. Heat flows from hot to cold always. High pressure to low pressure always.
So how does that prove that the universe is finite?
The first and second laws of thermodynamics. The first law states that neither matter. You're going to give me a chance?
Yeah, I said yeah.
Okay. The first law states that neither matter or energy can be created or destroyed. The second law states that the universe is moving to maximum entropy, the big chill of the universe, right? That means energy or entropy will be so spread out, there'll be no work to be done.
I think that's
Ergo, the universe had a beginning.
Okay, but what's the experiment that proves that?
What's the experiment that proves what?
But John wasn't the creator.
First of all, the first law of thermodynamics, that energy and matter can neither be created nor destroyed. And then the second one, that the law of entropy. What's the experimental proof that these are unassailable facts?
They're not, you can't experimentally prove those.
Oh, okay.
They're not, you can't. They're just facts. No, that's not exactly. You're out of context.
I'm out of context, right?
Yeah, because it's a malformed question. There is experiments are cause and effect.
So
right?
you're asserting things as facts.
Experiments are cause and effect relationships.
Right.
But John, doesn't the creator
laws of thermodynamics are what is questions, not how, why questions.
Right? What he believes to be true.
You don't need evidence to answer what is questions.
Hang on, Nomi. Let me just say to John, doesn't the creator himself break the first laws of thermodynamics then by creating matter and energy?
No, the creator can't be created because he's the creator.
That's not what he asked.
That's not what he said.
That's not what he asked.
What did he ask?
I said, doesn't the creator himself break the first laws of thermodynamics?
That matter or energy can't be created or destroyed?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
No, because he is outside. He is the programmer. Does a video programmer break the laws of programming videos inside his video by being outside it and creating entities inside it?
Okay, so they're not universal laws then.
No, he is outside. The laws of thermodynamics. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen
he's
to what
outside
I'm
of reality.
Oh my God. The natural,
so he's outside of reality.
The first law of thermodynamics, all natural laws. Remember, I said natural laws, right? All physical laws are natural laws, right? They talk about within our natural world, the universe. It doesn't have anything to do with anything outside of it.
Yeah, but
so we don't know what is natural anymore.
We don't know what the universe is, right?
We don't know what is natural anymore.
Well, you can't prove the laws of thermodynamics. Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
so
I just did.
Let me
I
give
just
you an
did.
example.
Heat flows from hot to cold always.
No, you didn't. You just asserted them again.
No, you nuh-uh. Well, does heat flow from hot to cold always, clown?
Yeah.
That's the second law of well, there you go.
Can you define nature? Can you?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that. But you're claiming that proves a finite universe. You see?
I'm claiming.
How does that prove a finite universe? That's what
I just told you that because you can't have. I did it in the presentation. Could we pull it up?
The creator
I went step by step. I held your hand.
I hate to have to.
It's not true.
I have to go now just because I have to.
Not true. Bye bye.
But we'll pick this up again sometime. Anyways, take it easy, guys.
See you later.
I can't wait.
All right. So one thing that just came to my mind in terms of the contrast of the creator and the program. Okay, in our program, we have to eat and breathe to survive, but that does not necessitate that the creator must eat and breathe.
That's
correct. He created this natural construct where we have to eat and breathe and remove waste from our bodies. That's the program he set up. But that doesn't mean he is operating on those same levels.
Yeah, that's correct.
This is why I asked about natural. What do we mean by natural? As far as I'm concerned, we live in a completely unnatural, broken system. So
physical, material world, natural.
Well, John, do you great respect for you as well, John? But do you hold? You've heard the idea of the giant trees, for instance, no forest of flat Earth. Do you hold it? Is any reality?
I don't deal with that stuff.
Okay, you don't deal with it.
Welcome back, Arwen.
You don't deal with it if it's part of a possible truth. I mean,
I don't deal with speculations and I don't deal with that stuff.
Hang on, then, John. You've defined what's natural, right? And you have to admit, then you might be wrong.
The physical material. How do you that doesn't follow? Why do I have to believe in trees to believe this fossil tree world?
All praise Christ.
Excuse me. How do you prove something? How do you prove something that's outside of reality?
John, are you a young Earth creationist?
It's created because it has to be.
Is he gone?
Don't know.
I think he's gone.
We had a couple of snipers join, so it might have been kicked. We'll see in about 5 seconds.
Oh
yes, we lost.
Oh yes, everybody's gone. Just me and Arwen. Beer, Arwen.
No, not yet. Still have to do my paper rounds.
Paper rounds?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. So, but I kind of agree with John. With Mr. Scientific Method.
You believe
I'm back.
Well, there is different. Oh, who is sniping?
Yeah, I'm back.
Here?
Go ahead.
All right. So I do, yeah, I'm not going to try to do it the scientific method way. I find it interesting that you did, but I'm pretty sure that the creator, there's different aspects to him. You have the alpha and the omega, that which is and always has been. It was always there. It's outside of time and space, and it does not need to be created because it was always there. And it is the all consciousness, and it basically sent forth the Nephilim, which are the personified gods that actually did the creation within this 3D time limited realm. And they are the personified gods, the Nephilim, a group. But the Alpha and Omega was always
joining
there.
back. Yeah, I'm back.
Hey.
Go ahead. Somebody was asking me a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody was asking me a question before I got sniped.
Most of us got sniped here.
Most of the panel got sniped.
Oh, I was asking if you were a young Earth creationist, John.
Say again?
Are you a young Earth creationist?
I'm a flat, non-spinning, dome, geocentric, young Earth creationist.
That's correct. You should get that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah. So,
Nathan could sell those.
Anything else?
No, that was it. Just interested, really, of where your central philosophy comes from.
Where my philosophy comes from? It comes from the two ontological primitives. Either nature created us or intelligent design. Make your choice.
Intelligent
it's not a false
design.
dichotomy. If you got a third choice, please let me know.
Oh, absolutely. Intelligence design. Although the intelligent design may be inherent to the very fabric of creation itself.
Yeah. Now back to the first and second laws of thermodynamics.
As we can see in fractal patterns, for one.
If the total amount of mass and energy is constant, right, and the amount of usable energy is decreasing, then the universe will end the heat death of the universe. Ergo, it had a beginning and not the pseudoscience Big Bang train wreck. This is just simple logic based off the laws of thermodynamics.
I don't see how. Should not the energy be conserved or displaced? Should it not be cyclical?
No, it goes against
entropy.
Where's
it going to go? Where's the energy
goes against
gonna
entropy.
Go?
It'll keep spreading out until the big chill or maximum entropy.
Energy?
So,
but I thought that we were in a contained universe.
Yeah, well, that's what the first and second laws of thermodynamics state. Of their universe.
If there is a barrier containing us, as would be required for air pressure, then all that energy spreading should also be limited.
It is.
It should be recycled.
Right. I'm only stating the laws of thermodynamics from the heliocentric ball point of view. These are the laws of
okay, yeah. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
However, the first law, matter and energy doesn't just pop in and out of existence, right? So that's true. And the laws of thermodynamics or the laws of entropy, we observe these. These are self-evident facts of everyday life, right? I'd like to see somebody disprove the first and second law of thermodynamics. I'd like to see that one.
It's hard to tell, really, because I've seen things only through YouTube, I have to admit, where there were apparently devices that could actually produce more energy just by their movement than would be required to keep them going. So, but yeah, where it could still be another source that's basically drawing energy from. It all depends on how much energy is there and where is it. So if there is an ether that you could normally not touch upon, or a level of ether that under very specific circumstances you could tap in, then there may seem to be potentially more energy than normally could be perceived. So
you're talking about perpetual motion machines.
Now, not really like that. Not a perpetual motion machine. It would be a device. I think it was like a mixer. It was like a centrifugal mixer system that basically seemed to, like, it defied normal chemistry, as it were, because it just cost a very little amount of energy, but what came out of it would normally require more. So it was not like a device that just keeps on going by being self-powered. It would require an external source, but what came out of it was basically more than the sum that came in it. That was the setup. It's a long time back. I don't have a source anymore, but
okay.
Do you recognize there may be
more?
There may be unperceived energy sources that are just basically everywhere that you can't normally perceive or tap into.
So, and back to the creator, not even, like I said, I have 4 proofs, scientific evidences for the existence of a creator back in the presentation. I've had these for years. All I get is nah-ahs and I disagree. So that ain't gonna work.
You're not getting it from me. I'm just asking you.
No, I'm not talking to you, Erwin. This is in general, not to you. So
okay.
I don't have time for nah-ahs or I disagree. I have scientific evidences by experiment, right? I have 4 of them. I posted 4. So if you have an argument against them, then go back to that presentation and refute them. If not, I don't really want to hear it. You're wasting my time. I'd rather pick fuzz up off the floor. We tracking?
Yeah, I've been posting it in the chat, so if people want to see that presentation, just click on the link in the chat. If you're watching this on the re-upload, just pick up the live chat from the rebroadcast and click on the link there.
I go through it step by step. I start off right at the beginning.
Cool. Good stuff. It's interesting that
cool. So, yeah, right. So, nah-ahs, and I disagree. I mean, they're quite compelling. These people must be pre-law, Harvard, Stanford. It's very compelling. But go ahead and go back there. All right. You can email me. Get in touch with Nathan. All right. Now go through them. Any questions?
Nah. I'm hoping to round out by talking a bit about flat Earth, though. If that's good by everyone.
Yeah, well, this all is connected.
I agree.
All of it's connected. The Big Bang, the billions of years, the trillions of galaxies, the fairy tale evolution. Just take a step back, folks. Take a step back. Those are all lies from the pseudoscientists, right? You know, they're not that stupid. They have an end goal in mind. So take a step back. What do all of those, how would I say, grease the skids for? If you put them all together, what are they telling you? Right?
That God doesn't exist.
All right, that's one. God doesn't exist, but what's it telling you? What's it greasing the skids for?
Don't kick me.
Hey, Nola.
Right?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, you got evolution, you got billions of galaxies and trillions of Earth-like planets, and you got evolution. Yeah, what's that telling us?
Well, it's pretty much the perfect contradiction for the creation story.
What are they preparing you for?
Perfect opposition.
The aliens. Right? Can't have aliens.
Nah, I think the aliens are a later invention. I think the aliens are just a continuation of the of the building of the heliocentric narrative.
The aliens aren't really the aliens, though.
Well, extra dimensionals.
I know this is hard
Some
for people.
could consider them as demons. It's true.
They're the fallen angels coming back. I know. I read the last chapter. We win.
Could be.
I'm just telling you.
But it all depends, because they're always here. They're always everywhere. But to actually have them physically manifest somehow, have a direct physical body tie and consciousness present physically within this world, that could be considered the fallen angels returning. And there's lots of speculation about this. That could be the AI, or a bunch of possessed people, or a genetically mutated superhuman being containing Satan's will, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of ways to approach that.
If you look in the Bible, it'll tell you. A couple people asked him, they said, tell us what the end times will be. And he said, pay attention. As the days of Noah were, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. Well, thanks. What were the days of Noah like? Fallen angels.
Giants.
So prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. You have presidents, you have the Vatican talking about, well, what are we going to do when the aliens come? Right?
Yeah, but hold on.
Been prepared
fallen
for
angels, like there's not really
with
talk of fallen angels.
Space, right? They're prepping you.
But John, like in the days of Noah, there's not really a lot of talk of actual fallen angels. It's more.
Yes, there is. See Genesis 6.
Oh, really? So they were physically present like angels? Because I think that there is a lot of talk of giants during that age.
That was their offspring.
Yeah. Exactly.
Genesis 6
fallen angels themselves, how long have they even physically manifested? Have they ever? Or is the physical offspring
that were
what
involved
they created
in that mischief?
The world?
The ones that were involved in that mischief are in chains in prison until the end. However, that doesn't restrict the other ones from doing the exact same thing over again. I'm just saying.
But what are the other ones? The
remaining
non-corrupted angels?
Well, they say that the scripture says that 1/3 of the fallen angels, right? Only 200 were involved.
1/3 of all the angels. They fell. They went with Lucifer and became fallen.
Yes, that's a big number.
They were all imprisoned.
No, only 200 were involved in that initial mischief.
Did you count
them? There's fallen angels out there that really haven't done anything. They're waiting. Is that it?
And it talks about behind all the world's governments are principalities and powers, all world governments. So
I'm just trying to clear up the mystery here, because I was under the impression that all the fallen angels were imprisoned.
No, not yet.
So what was the percentage of fallen angels that were imprisoned, and which one were left to roam free?
I said 200 of the 1/3. Now, what's the number of that 1/3? I don't know. It doesn't go into the exact numbers, but it's a big number.
That's not how I remember it. I thought that of all the angels, all of them, 1/3 decided to rebel, and they became the fallen angels. It's not like 1/3 of all the fallen angels rebelled. No. There's still just 2/3 regular angels that were not fallen.
Went with him, they fell. Right? 200 were involved in the mischief back in Genesis 6. And I'm telling you that that number is a small number, the 200.
Right? So there are like 400 angels that have not fallen.
Much bigger than that.
Whatever. Hey, you're quoting the Bible. I'm just going with the numbers here. But as far as I've learned, and I've been following following some stuff from what's her name, from Paula. She talks a lot of scripture. It's 1/3 of the angels went with Lucifer. They became fallen. They went against the word of God, and they were all in prison. All of them.
Incorrect.
So which ones were imprisoned and which ones were left to
how
roam
many
free?
times do I got to say this? 200 were involved in the mischief in Genesis 6. That is not all of them. This isn't that difficult. That's just a small part of the group. A very tiny part.
But it kind of doesn't mention the percentage. How many were there? Does it actually say?
It's easily deduced by the total number of angels, right? 10,000s and 10,000s on 10,000s, right? So take 1/3 of that, whatever that may be. It's a big number. 1/3 of that fell. 200 of them, this is the last time I'm going to say it, 200 of them were involved in that mischief in Genesis 6. That leaves a big number outstanding.
All right. So they're standing by, basically.
They're involved in other mischief, not that mischief. That mischief was a total, thumb in the face of God, especially messing with his image. Right? We were created in the image of God. Right? We are the temple of God. So they went directly, tried to punk him directly. They got what they got, and they're going to get what they get.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Also, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in. If you hated this show, you know what to do. But if you liked it, consider sharing it. Maybe subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!